What is up, guys? I'm your friendly neighborhood web war fanatic, and we are back with another installment of my series, How to Play X Hero. And yeah, every single time I ask the channel members which hero you guys want to see me do, and this week you guys voted for Hulk here. So yeah, here is the poll. The next four heroes was Doctor Strange, Hulk, Hawkeye, and Spider-Woman, and Hulk got the majority, 41% here. I'm gonna be talking about the best way to play Hulk. I'll also go over some aspect hooks for him, in every single aspect, and I'll go over a deck list that I think is the best way to play him, and then some example, playthroughs, showing, how this deck list works, in a real life example. Okay, so the first thing that I gotta talk about with Hulk is that the deck list that I think is the best way to play Hulk is very controversial. And I got a lot of pushback on this deck list. And I'm gonna show you guys the exact criticism that I got for this deck list. I learned my lesson, guys, whenever I was saying, the myth about how, Doctor Strange can defeat every single expert scenario, with 25 blank cards. Whenever I first made that video to debunk that myth, so many people were saying that I made that myth up, that no one has ever said that, they've never heard of that. So I'm going to come in with receipts here showing you guys so that people don't tell me, hey, no one hated this deck list, everyone loved the deck list. So I'm going to show you guys here. So the deck list I'm talking about, you guys may know, is the suit down deck list here. It's the leadership suit up build here with Hulk. And the main strategy with this deck is using suit up to recur Moon Girl. With suit up here, it's a 2-cost event, alter ego action only, so you can only play this, in alter ego. Search your deck and discard power for an ally, and an upgrade that can't be attached to the ally, and you add them to your hand. So you can search your deck and your discard pile, grab any ally wherever you want, trigger the ally to your hand, and you also get an upgrade. For the purposes of this build, we just want that upgrade to be a resource that we can use to pay for that ally, right? We're not actually going to be playing, that upgrade. We just want that extra refund of the cost here that we have to pay, for suit up. And the ally that we want to get is Moon Girl here, who you can only play if your identity has a champion or genius trait. And then Hulk does have the genius trait here in his alter ego, so he can play her. Yeah, so when we play Moon Girl, you can draw one card for each mental resource used to pay for her. So, she refunds a lot of her cost and the cost for suit up. So that is like the main game plan with the deck, and it refunds a lot of value. And then what we want to do is use those cards that we have to also play a resource generator, right? So we can get an ally down and a resource generator in the same turn. That is a very, very good turn for Hulk. And that's kind of what this deck is all about. Hulk does not have the problems of some other heroes like Drax, where like he has to play in a very particular playstyle, right? He can do a different, amount of things. He can do rush, or he can actually build out. And since he has the Avengers trait, he can play the Quinn carrier to build out. And he also has access to Ingenuity here because he has the Genius trait as well, right? So, he can play Ingenuity, Quinn carrier, Helicarrier, and Avengers Mansion as those resource generators. And once they're all out, Hulk's hand size of only 4 in hero form and 5 in alter ego is mitigated because he has the economy set up here, so he's going to be like average or even above average once all this stuff is set up. So that's the main game plan here with this deck. And then I posted this deck here on Reddit. I was very, very excited because this is shortly after Suit Up came out, and I realized that this card works so well with Hulk because of Moon Girl, and he can recur her. And then I beat Expert Magneto here, and at that time a lot of people was posting on Reddit telling about how they hate Hulk, how Hulk needs to be remade, how Hulk needs to go in the trash, how like it's like a trash hero, can't do anything. And I was like, guys, Hulk can beat Expert Magneto here. Like, this deck is really fun. It was one of my favorite games that I've ever played, one of the most fun games that I played, and I felt very accomplished and satisfied after I took down Magneto here, with this deck. So I posted on Reddit, and then the title of it was Suit Up Makes Hulk Way Stronger. Maybe he doesn't need fixing, right? Because everyone's trying to come up with ways to fix Hulk, or just to like, throw in the garbage. And I'm saying, guys, like, I like to play with the official content. I want to try to make do with what I have. And honestly, I think Hulk's kit as is okay. Like, he's able to, build out here and defeat Expert Magneto, I think, quite consistently. And I think that he can accomplish feats that I don't think Hawkeye and like Drax can accomplish, for example, right? Like, I don't think that this build works for Drax or Hawkeye, right? Hawkeye's limited by his arrow events. Drax needs to attack. He can't flip down to RV, or else he loses all that attack. And then his attack stat, helps him fund for like a bunch of his cards, right? Like, a lot of his cards revolve around, getting those vengeance counters up high, right? So like, a lot of heroes actually can't work well with this build, and Hulk just happens to be able to do it very well because of the resource generators that he has access to, right? Quick Carry and Ingenuity, and then Moon Girl and Suit Up, right? So having the gene trait is a big thing for this build. So yeah, that's kind of my mentality going into it. And I thought people would be like, what a cool build. I'm gonna try this out against Magneto and then like, have fun playing Hulk. And to be fair, a lot of people did say that. So, I'm not discounting that at all. Shout out to everyone that told me how much they enjoyed this build. Definitely there were people that enjoyed it. But there was a lot of pushback. So let's get into it here. So the first comment here says, honestly, I don't understand this trend of, hey, Hulk is actually okay. So I have never seen this trend. I don't know what this person's talking about. I don't see a trend of people saying that. What I see is the trend of, hey, Hulk is trash. Don't even play him. Like, don't even bother playing him. You won't have fun. Even if you really like the hero of Hulk, he's just so trash. That's the trend that I normally see. And then they add here, I'd say it's even toxic positivity in this mini world of this particular board game. So guys, I have toxic positivity. I am too toxic because I have fun playing the Hulk hero in Marvel Champions because I really like Hulk as a character and I want to try to make him work. So I am toxic. Yeah, this guy says it here. And then he is badly designed, period. Okay, well, I always try to not say that my statements are facts, right? I always say that everything that I'm saying is just my personal opinion, but this person here knows for a fact. So everyone must agree, like, this is a fact. He is badly designed, period. It would be great, some revision from Fantasy Flight Games, some trait lark cards. I'm afraid if people keep creating Hulk is fine content, we will never get a revision. Okay, I don't know anyone else that makes like Hulk is fine content, but yeah, they think that me posting this video about Hulk is going to, make Fantasy Flight Games never ever decide to remake the character. To be fair, this was before the announcement of like Revisited Heroes was announced, so we didn't know that we would be getting like Revisited Heroes of like, potentially Hulk, Captain America, those older heroes. So, I mean, I guess that's fair. Next comment here says, wait, wait, wait. You just posted about Hulk beating Magneto on Expert. Is Hulk now also S tier because you beat him with that same ally leadership deck? So this was a post to my Spider-Man deck where, I'm talking about how Spider-Man is S tier because Spider-Man can run this, similar build to Hulk with a suit up and Moon Girl, but much better, because Spider-Man is just a strong hero with more economy, right? But this person is going to put words in my mouth and strawman me and ask me, is Hulk now also S tier because, I used him to, beat Magneto with that same ally leadership deck. And no, guys, Hulk is not S tier. You will never find me saying anywhere that Hulk is S tier. I made a hero review on Hulk. I said that he's D tier. So like, I've never said anything close to saying that he's S tier. Next comment here says, someone who can spare a click. Count the number of rounds and the number of Nick Furies or Moon Girls. Then come back and say with a straight face, Hulk was the hero. So I think they're saying that if they can spare a click, they did not spare the click because they can't do it because they're too busy. So they didn't actually watch my video, but they wanted someone else to, count the number of rounds and number of Nick Furies. And yeah, guys, I never said that, this deck is like, oh, you're gonna feel just like Hulk, punching people down. I said that this is a way to play Hulk and defeat Expert Magneto and like play Hulk at a high level if that's what you want. So, I'm not trying to say, Hulk was the hero here, or I mean, he literally is the hero that we're playing, and he's like facilitating everything and being the leader to set this all up. And then Hulk's obviously gonna play, multiple Hulk smashes to actually get the win on the villain. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is valid criticism, right? Because I did play Nick Fury and Moon Girl a lot. That's the point of an ally recursion deck. Especially the one that I have here with Suit Up. The next comment here says, I genuinely don't understand takes like these. I don't mean that I disagree. I mean it feels really like talking to someone with no language in common and only Google Translate to help us. So I'm so like off the wall here with this type of deck and like mentioning the possibility of maybe Hulk doesn't need to fix, guys. Maybe we can actually play Hulk here and like have fun with how he is designed, right? That's like so crazy, so blasphemous that like this person doesn't even understand what I'm talking about. And then they talk about my deck here where Moon Girl is expensive and then Hulk has vanishingly few mental resources. But like he's saying here, Ingenuity provides one and Banner's Lab provides another one. So like that's a synergy here with Hulk, right? He can play Ingenuity and Banner's Laboratory. So when he's in Alter Ego, he has two, mental resources on demand already if you get these these upgrades and your supports down, right? So I mean, yeah, I don't know, like you can also use cards in your hand, right? We're not building the entire Hulk deck with only physical resources, right? I have a bunch of mental resources, in the actual deck. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. Next comment here says, I'm not a content creator, but since that world revolves around views, likes, and subscribers, etc., they are far more likely to post content that'll get high numbers. And Spider-Man and Hulk are two of the most popular Marvel characters, so they draw more views. I love playing with Hawkeye and Warlock, but unfortunately they won't bring in the eyeballs. Okay, there's like so many just like factually incorrect things about the statement. So like the first thing here, I've never asked anyone in any of my videos to like my videos or to subscribe, right? Like I play Marvel Champs and I do this channel because I really love the game Marvel Champions and I like sharing my experience and discussing all these cool things that you can do, in the game of Marvel Champions. And then like I think they're definitely talking about me, right? Because they even mentioned Spider-Man here. Spider-Man and Hulk are two of the most popular Marvel characters. Yeah, they are. They're also two of my favorite characters because they're most popular, right? Like, I'm not trying to say I'm this unique person. I'm basic. I like Spider-Man. A lot of people like Spider-Man. I really like Hulk. A lot of people like Hulk. That's why I like playing Spider-Man and Hulk because I like these characters and I want to feel like them whenever I'm playing Marvel Champions, right? Where you get to play as your favorite superhero. So yeah, these are two big characters I really like to play with. And then this person likes to play with Hawkeye and Warlock. And then they also say here that Hawkeye and Warlock won't bring in the eyeballs. Guys, you guys can check on my channel. My Hawkeye and Warlock gameplays do very, very well. I think my last two Adam Warlock plays got over 1,000 views. Same with my last few Hawkeye plays. Like, they do very well. I would argue that my last Warlock play and last Hawkeye play got more views than my last Spider-Man and Hulk plays. And maybe it's because I play Spider-Man too much. So, like, people don't want to see me play him as much anymore. I still play him, though, because, he's my favorite hero. So, of course, even if people don't want to watch me play Spider-Man, I'm still going to play Spider-Man. But yeah, people like seeing Hawkeye and Adam Warlock content, so I'm not sure where they got this from. And then this person replies, and takes like this, like my take, gets people to click. I think they're insinuating that I'm being clickbait here. I mean, the title of the video is, Hulk versus Magneto, and I'm just sharing this really strong build that I have with Hulk. And I do think that is the best way to play Hulk, which is why, I'm bringing it back up here again in this video. I think that this is the best way to play Hulk, guys. If you guys, don't want to play this hero in this type of way, feel free, to not watch this video. Feel free to not play it this way. It's just my personal opinion, right? Everything that I say, I always say it's my personal opinion. So I think this is the best way to play Hulk. I'm gonna stand by that. I have fun with this build. And then the last comment I'm gonna show here says playing only basic / leadership allies for 90% of a game is so uninteresting. Okay, totally fair, right? I'm not trying to convince you that it is interesting, right? I personally don't mind it. I like playing it sometimes. And this person clearly does not like, that leadership recursion, type of style in Marvel Champions, which is totally fair. But there are a lot of new players that just want to play Hulk and just want to defeat, villains with Hulk. And a lot of people like myself don't care, how they get it done. They just want to play Hulk, they just want to play by the official rules and defeat, strong villains. So that was kind of the point of my post, right? Like I just wanted to show, new players that didn't know this. Like, hey guys, you guys can play Hulk and defeat really strong villains like Magneto here, with this deck. So this was a game here where I used, this suit down deck list, playing Hulk against Expert Thanos, and I actually wanted to give a huge shout out here to one of my channel members, Ritzy Rios, who commented, this very thematic type of explanation for the deck, where Nick Fury has heard the Mad Titan has returned, and what a headache. Fury would love to figure out a solution for this. And then, he puts together a team of genius minds to figure out how to handle the situation. Beast, Ironheart, Moon Girl, these are all like genius allies that we use, in the deck. And it was suggested that Bruce Banner can lead the team with his knowledge of cosmic radiation, and then Maria Hill is sent to supervise. With any luck, the Mad Titan would have the Infinity Gauntlet ripped away from him with a combination of these genius minds and a well-placed dosage of Hulk Smash. So yeah, guys, I got a lot of pushback on this deck also because, it's not quote-unquote thematic. But like, what is thematic in Marvel Champions, right? What is thematic to you? People have said including Wolverine in a Spider-Man deck is not thematic, but they crossed over multiple times. Some of my favorite issues was whenever Spider-Man and Wolverine, crossed over. So like, for Hulk to work with geniuses, I mean, that's thematic to me, right? Hulk leading his team, being in his alter ego as Bruce Banner, getting all these allies into play, being the leader, and then flipping over to hero form just to do some damage. That's a thematic thing to me, right? Just because, people that, were commenting earlier, they don't think it's thematic, that's fine. I'm not trying to tell you guys, how you guys should play. But yeah, I think it's, entirely subjective. And I think that this is a fun way to play Hulk, and I enjoy playing him this way. Here's a comment here from Podman, where it says that, the use of Suit Up here impresses him, and he thought it was a useless card. but now, he thinks that maybe it can be good. So, it's cool. I think Suit Up is a cool card, and, seeing it being used may change a lot of people's opinions on it and, on Hulk as well. And then here's a comment here from Guarismo. Geniuses assemble, Hulk smashes while puny human thinks stuff. Great game. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the tech is all about, right? Bruce Banner is, facilitating everything, and then we flip up to Hulk form, and then we're gonna do some Hulk smashes, right? And shout outs here to Jehovah. I'm a really big Hulk fan, but I don't like him, in Marvel Champions. After watching this, I should give him another chance. Very well done. The Genius trait helps him a lot. Yeah, like, I mean, that's kind of what the whole deck was all about, right, guys? Like, a lot of people love Hulk. I love Hulk. I want to play him in a fun way that works out, in Marvel Champions. And this is just a way to do that, right? You don't have to like it. I'm just trying to share a way that, I have a lot of fun playing. And then here's a comment here from Zaz, and he asked me, do I think that this Hulk deck that I played is more powerful than a Colossus deck using arm up every single turn, doing all this stuff? And, I think that Colossus is a strong hero. So he asked me, what did I say? This is a year ago. In my opinion, Colossus with that build is stronger than Hulk suit up. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's no point lying, right? Like, yes, I think that this deck is good, the Hulk suit up deck, but I think Colossus is stronger than Hulk, right? Like, Hulk is still not an S tier hero, right? There's nowhere where I said that. I'm just saying that he is viable and he can beat most scenarios on expert mode quite reliably, depending on the build that you use, especially if you use this build. So, like, it's just a way to do it. I'm not gonna tell you that this build makes Hulk stronger than Spider-Man or that it makes Hulk stronger than Doctor Strange, right? It's just not the case. It's just a way to play Hulk. He's still not like an S tier or A tier or even like a B tier level hero in strength, right? He's still, near the bottom, but I don't think that he's the worst. And especially with this build, I think that it solidifies him as not being the worst. All right, so we're hopping over here for some gameplay. And I'm going to show you guys, what it looks like to suit up for Moon Girl and then play a resource generator down, which is what we want to do to slowly get built out here, as Hulk. So during this turn, I just reviewed the obligation here for Hulk whenever I was in the villain phase here. So we're going to resolve that. Change form, flip your identity. And if you are Bruce Banner, which we are, this card 2 cards from your hand, and this card's obligation. Oof. So when we have 4 cards in our hand, we have to lose 2. We have the Suda and we have the double there. So I think we just toss the other 2 cards. We lose these 2 cards here, and then we discard this obligation. Yeah, that's it. Here we discard 2 cards. Okay, so that's it. All right, so it's back to our turn now. Not too good. Let's use Mansion to draw a card. We got our laboratory. If we play a suit up here, that will work, but then it'll deck us out. That's fine. We might as well. Let's exhaust the Helicarrier to reduce the cost of the next card we play by 1. This would be a resource, so we can play suit up here. It says alter ego action, search your deck and discard power for an ally and upgrade that can be attached to ally. So our discard power, we're going to look here for a Moon Girl. And upgrade that can be attached here is going to be our clarity of purpose here. And we add that to our hand, and suit up says to shuffle your deck, so let's shuffle anyways, even though we didn't look through it. And we have the ingenuity in here, so I think we're going to draw it up and be able to play it. That will resolve the suit up. Then we're going to use this as 3 mental resources. So we can play Moon Girl, we can play because we have the genius right here in our alter ego. Yeah, so in this version of the deck, I have 2 copies of Ingenuity. There's 1 discard pile, so I know that 1 is still in the deck. And Moon Girl is going to draw me 3 cards here with the 3 mental resources. So I can just play the Ingenuity straight down. And then we can draw 3 cards after we play it because we use 3 mental resources. So we draw 3 cards, deck out, get a face down and counter card. Then we're going to shuffle up our discard pile here. Let me skip the shuffling. Team, I need to pop them in scheming. We're going to use this as 2 resources so we can play Ingenuity. This is play only if you have the genius trait, which you do have in our alter ego. We can exhaust it to generate a mental resource, which we're so like now, I feel like pretty good with Hulk, right? We have 3 resource generators down the table. So even though our hand size is 5 in Alter Ego, it's like effectively, 8. And in Hero form, our hand size is 4, but it's like effectively 7 now, right? So, at this point in the game, Magneto is still on his stage 1. He has 2 mana counters. We haven't made like the most progress, right? But we made decent progress because now we're better than we were at, at the beginning of the game. We like effectively mitigated, Hulk's poor hand size. Now we can play like a normal hero and I try to do some Hulk smash things, because we got built out enough, right? So that's kind of the point of this deck here. And I also want to go back to the deck list and I want to show you guys some example mulligans that we want, right? We want to get 1 resource generator and we want to get either a copy of Suit Up or Moon Girl. We have 3 copies of Suit Up here in the deck and we have 1 Moon Girl, right? Or Nick Fury also if we draw Nick Fury, right? So there's 5 targets that are really good for us. We can mulligan, 5 cards and draw 5 more. So we can effectively, go through 10 cards in our deck. That's like 25% of the deck. And if we just draw a resource generator, Hulk is fine just playing that, on turn 1 and nothing else because he has 18 hit points, right? having, the 18 hit points here in hero form means that he can just play a research generator and he does not have to play an ally because he can just take the hit to the face and still, be able to not be in like lethal range of dying because of all that life, right? So he does have breathing room, with this build if we can't afford both. But if we can get the Suit Up or Moon Girl down, we'll usually have the resources to, pay for everything. So let's go over down here to Marvel CDB and we can do our alter ego hand. So it would do our first hand here. Okay, so look at this. We got Nick Fury and a triple. We did get the Suit Up, but it doesn't even matter anymore because now we have Nick Fury and a triple, right? Suit Up, the point of it is to increase the odds that we're drawing like a Nick Fury or a Moon Girl on that turn one. So for this, I would mulligan 1, 2, 3 because I'm going to use a triple to play Nick and I want to play a research generator. So I want to draw into one here. So let's mulligan redraw selected. So we did not, but we have more resources, right? So yeah, what would we do here? So I would still play the Suit Up here. Use a double resource to play a Suit Up in Alter Ego. Actually, okay, first we're going to do Hulk has the ability in Alter Ego. He has the experimental research. Actually, let's go back over to here. So we can draw a card and choose this card from your hand, limit once per round. So let's pretend we're using that ability after a mulligan. So we're going to draw one, and we got this. So we're going to just immediately discard this card here. How do I discard it? I don't know how to discard it, but basically we would flip up here. We would use the double resource to play Suit Up. Maybe get like Maria Hill and a Clarity Purpose, and then flip up, use a Clarity Purpose and the triple here to play Nick Fury, draw 3 cards. We can use a triple and Maria Hill to draw another card. So let's draw 3 with Nick here. So we draw 2, and then we draw 1 more, and we'll play Maria Hill with like some of the stuff, draw 1 more card, and we use Triskelion, right? So this is not the best turn because we did not get a research generator. We can play Maria Hill, Nick Fury, and the Triskelion, have all that stuff out, but we won't be able to play anything unless we use the Clarity Purpose, and actually play it as regenerator, but we weren't able to get that. But we still have a good first turn here because we have Nick and Maria to thwart, and we have a something on the table, right? This is similar to my Magneto game here. Let's jump back over here. So my first turn here with Magneto, this was what I was able to get out, right? Not the best first turn because I did not get a research generator out. I did get, 2 allies and a Triskelion, but no economy cards. And I had Nick in my hand. I flipped it to hero form, I think. Did I flip up? No, I stayed down because I did not want to discard Nick. I wanted to play him for another turn, right? So, a turn like this, it's still okay. It's very, very high tempo, and you're not getting built out. So I definitely don't mind a turn like that. Okay, let's reset here, and we'll do another alter ego hand. So let's see, here we just drew straight into Moon Girl. So we want the Mentos to pay for her, and we want to hold on to this because if we get a research generator, we could use this to pay for it, but only hero form. So here I would mulligan Clarity Purpose and Professor X. So let's see what we get. Redraw selected. Now we keep drawing the resources. Okay, we're going to experimental research. So we draw a card, discard a card. We can discard this. And then here, okay, this is perfect. So now we got Baron's Laboratory down, which is decent here. So, but we have to use the Mentos here to play Moon Girl. Okay, so this is actually not that great. So now we will have to discard the Limitless Strength. And we'll use, because we can't use this in Alter Ego. So then we use Unstoppable Force, Maria Hill, and Banner's Laboratory as 3 resources to play Moon Girl. She'll draw me 3 cards, so let's draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. So here we got the Queen Carry, and we have the other triple still in her hand, right? So forget about Ironheart. We flip up to hero form, spend the triple to play Queen Carry. So that is the golden turn that we're looking for right here, right, guys? Because we got Moon Girl, an ally, and we got Queen Carry on our first turn. That is the best ideal hand that we can search for. Let me reset here. I want to try to show a hand with Suit Up. So how do we, we're going to do alter ego hand here. No Suit Up. Okay, let's reset again. I want to show you guys what it looks like whenever we get a Suit Up in our hand. And we're not getting, I mean, we got Moon Girl and Nick Fury, which is great. This stuff is great too, right? Because we don't need Suit Up if we draw the research generator like straight into our hand, right? Like it's fine without that because just getting this down on turn 1 is very, very good. Okay, let me just mulligan this hand right here. Okay, so this hand is already very good. We have the Queen Carry and a triple. We're going to mulligan 3. And then no Suit Up, but it's fine, right? For this hand, we just flip up to hero form, use a triple, play Queen Carrier, and play Professor X here. And then he could, confuse the villain, he can thwart, and he can block for us, and we have this economy card down the table, helping Hulk increase his hand size. Let's do another hand. I don't know where the Suit Ups are, guys. Okay, let's do a mulligan for this hand, and we'll see what will happen. So we keep Maria Hill, keep the Power Novels. Let's mulligan 3. Draw selected. No suit up still. Okay, I mean, for this hand, I would play Maria Hill, use these two cards, play Maria Hill, draw a card. We got a triple, so we can just play Beast. Get triple back, it doesn't matter. Maybe we can hold on to a resource card like a double in our hand, with Beast ability. No, we have to flip it here for him, yeah. So this hand, once again, we get 2 allies out on turn 1, Beast and Maria Hill, but no economy card. I don't know what's going on here with the luck. We're not getting our suit up at all. And with 3 copies, I mean, this is a great hand, right? Ingenuity and Moon Girl. So, we go mulligan, 3, redraw selected. And then, yeah, I mean, for this, we'll use this to play Ingenuity. And then, actually, no, we need a double here. So we would use our ability to draw a card. Yeah, so we would draw 1 card here with Bruce's ability, and we would discard this one. Use a double to play Ingenuity, and then we can use Ingenuity, Beast, and the last resource to play Moon Girl. Guys, do I have suit up in this deck? I have 3 copies of suit up. How many mulligans did we do there to not get suit up? That is unrealistic. I don't know what's going on. Still no suit up. Reset. Still no suit up. What is going on, guys? Okay, here we go. We got a suit up hand. Finally. Okay, so, I mean, but we don't even need it here, right? Because we got Nick Fury. So, like, all these hands are very, very good. I don't know why I'm getting all the, like, good hands here. Okay, let's say, for example, for some reason, I'm not going to play. I mean, there's no point not to play Nick when I have him with a triple, right? There's just no point not to do that. Okay, let's reset here. If we don't get Moon Girl and Nick Fury, I'm like digging for a worser hand. Okay, here we go. Here we go, guys. Okay, this is perfect. So we got suit up here, and we got Helicarrier, which is a resource generator. So for this hand, I would just keep this hand right here. Okay, then we would use the Unstoppable Force and the Clarity Purpose to play suit up. We play suit up, we grab Clarity Purpose from discard pile, add it back to our hand, and we also get Moon Girl here to our hand. Then we use the Power in All of Us and Clarity Purpose. That's 3 resources right there, so that we can play Moon Girl. And then Moon Girl will draw us 3 cards, play the Helicarrier here, for that 3. So then we got our thing down. We got Moon Girl out and a resource generator out, on turn 1, thanks to suit up, even though we did not have the luck to draw Moon Girl and we didn't have the luck to draw Nick Fury, for that turn. That's what we're looking for here with this deck. We finally got it here. I mean, we got way better hands earlier though, right? Like just straight up drawing Moon Girl and drawing Nick Fury is, gonna be better than tutoring them with suit up. But yeah, we finally got suit up there. Yeah, this part was all unedited, guys. All this was in one go with these mulligans here, because obviously I can nitpick and try to find the best hand, but I'm not gonna do that, right? So that's how long it took to get this, but they're all good hands, right? This deck is designed in a way where we can actually get good hands quite reliably, right? You saw me do a bunch of mulligans there. They're all very, very good hands. And the point is to have this amount of resources here so that we can hit that and try to get what we want out on that turn 1. And if you have an economy card and you have Moon Girl, I'll prioritize getting the resource generator out, right? If you can't play both, just play the resource generator down first, get Hulk's economy mitigate a little bit first. And yeah, that is how this deck works here. Okay, so I do want to go over a updated version here of the deck as well. So yeah, named it here the most controversial deck, and basically there were some new cards that came out that I think are very good changes to the deck. So for a deck here, I added in the Gambit ally. Very, very good, allowing us to flip down, allowing us to scry, and we can use, Hulk's limited strength here as a triple to pay for Gambit. Very, very powerful ally. Grant Ward, probably the best ally that came out recently, for Hulk, because he's 0 cost. Hulk can play him for free. He can't block for you, but he can thwart for 2, which Hulk, very valuably needs. So it's a very valuable ally for Hulk. And then after you review a treasure, you may spend a mental resource. We try to put a bunch of mental resource in this deck, right? Tons of mentals all around, and you get the ingenuity or the Queen Carrier out. You have that mental resource on demand, so it works really well with Grant Ward there. Yeah, so those are some changes that I would definitely make to the deck now that we have these 2 cards that have been released a little point after Suit Up has been released. Okay, so this video is a little bit different from what we normally do. Okay, now we're going to go in reverse order after showing, I think that this is the best way to play Hulk. It's my favorite way to play Hulk. I think that Hulk works really well in this build. But I do want to go over his different aspect hooks. So let's jump over to the hero here. Really weird order. We want to get all of that out so that people aren't like, man, why did you pick suit up leadership? It's not even Hulk. Like, guys, it's just my personal opinion. It's just what I think is the best way to play Hulk. So let's go over his aspect hooks. Okay, so once again, similar to Captain America and Black Panther, Hulk can have access to Retaliate 1. So we're looking at his immovable object right here. It's a 3-cost upgrade. You get +4 hit points, and Hulk gains Retaliate 1. I love this card for Hulk. So Hulk will get up to 22 life. He still has the 3 defense and Retaliate 1. So of course, a protection build will work with Hulk here. We can also build into a Change of Fortune as well, just like with Captain America and Black Panther that we talked about before. You can include like a Dauntless, you include like an Armor Vest to build out, Hulk's defense. I played several games with Hulk, in this protection type of build, and it was very, very fun. Hulk can definitely do it. He doesn't have any defense events though, so he's not going to run it as well as like Captain America. And then, T'Challa has more economy, so I don't think Hulk's going to run this as well either. But it's definitely a valid build for him just because he has all this life and he has, 3 defense. I think he definitely has, some good protection hooks here. In addition to that, I think that Hulk can also really benefit from a new card from protection. And let's jump over here to the channel member comments here. So I also asked you guys, what is the best way to play Hulk, in your opinion? And I had a poll here. You guys voted for leadership and protection here as the top 2. I definitely agree with that, but I would tip it over to leadership here a little bit more, as you guys saw with the suit up build. But I want to give a huge shout out here to Alexi, who called out ready for a fight in protection here for Hulk, so that he can flip down more safely, and then he have access to the bigger hand size, which still isn't like a good hand size, right? A 5-card hand size isn't like great, but much better than 4 like we talked about. And you also don't have to trigger the enrage ability, which is Hulk's hero ability here. For some reason he has a negative hero ability where when your turn ends you must discard your hand. It's a force interrupt, so you have to do it. So if you're in Hulk form, you're not allowed to hold on to cards in your hand when your turn ends, so you can hold on stuff with the ready for fight. And it was the most successful that Alexi has had with Hulk, but still struggle with the economy, right? I think that this is a very good card here for Hulk, because not only is it, allowing him to flip down, but when the villain would scheme, they attack you instead. Well, that's good. We don't want to add threat to the main scheme at all, because if we do, Hulk's going to have to thwart it out. And you guys saw here, Hulk has a thwart stat of 0. So, it's difficult for Hulk to thwart. He has to basically play suborbital leap here or have like thwart events. And yeah, I mean, it's just not going to be the best thing. And if you want to put a bunch of thwart events, in Hulk's deck, you can definitely play him in Justice. So yeah, let's go over his Justice hooks here. So, okay, we talked about how Hulk wants to be an alter ego. But the main reason he wants to be an alter ego is what I thought, to play Suit Up and to play Moon Girl, right? His alter ego is actually not that good. It's under the curve because it's a hand size of 5. We do want to be an alter ego because having hand size of 5 is much, much better than a hand size of 4, right? So it's like sometimes flipping down to alter ego, I still want to do that just to get that 1 extra card, because sometimes that 1 extra card can be very valuable. So we do want to do that, but I mean, there's not much other things for Hulk to do. A big complaint about Hulk is that, a lot of builds that you can run with him, another hero can run that better. I just kind of talked a little bit about that with Change of Fortune. And I do know a lot of people talk about Hulk with a Justice Shield build. And I do think that that is a fine way to play Hulk. There are no direct synergies, right? Like the only thing that we have is like, I don't know, Banner's Laboratory, which you can use as a resource, but only in alter ego, right? That alter ego resource there. And obviously you have the extra hand size of, 5 still in the curve, and you can draw a card, but then you have to discard another card as well, right? So just a strictly worse version of Captain Marvel's, where her commander, you can draw a card and keep it, but you can also choose another player to draw a card, right? You can choose any player to draw that 1 card, versus this, it's only yourself, and you must discard another card as well. So yeah, not a great alter ego ability, not a good hand size. I personally think that there's so many other heroes that I would rather run with a shield build, and I think it's a little bit difficult for Hulk to get that build out because his economy is pretty low. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a build that can work with Hulk. It takes a little bit of setting up, and in my opinion, it's a little bit more unreliable than a suit-up build that I just talked about. You guys just saw the mulligans that I just did. We almost always got like either research generator or like 2 allies out, on turn 1, or the ideal 1 ally, 1 research generator type of thing, which is kind of the goal with that deck there. So yeah, I mean, he definitely has Justice hooks as well, but that's basically it, right? I mean, you want the normal stuff under surveillance to increase the threshold of the main scheme so that he can flip down more often and recover with 4 recovery, which is above average, and he also can get +2 more recovery with Baron's Laboratory with this constant ability, so you have 6 recovery. So yeah, He's definitely got some good stuff there, but yeah, not the craziest justice hero. I think that, thwarting is kind of a lost cause for Hulk. I'd rather just have the allies that, naturally have high thwart do it. But, getting a bunch of like beat cops and surveillance, getting that on the table, on demand will be good for Hulk. His economy is just going to be a little bit of a struggle to play all that stuff. Okay, so let's hop back over here to the member comments. I'll give a huge shout out here to Nar Antlers here, who gave a shout out to my pull aspect Hulk deck that took down Expert Ronin, in 10 minutes. I'm not really going to talk too much about this. I don't think that Hulk is the best in the pool aspect. Shoutouts to Nara Analyst for remembering this game. This was a while back. I did this on Christmas. It was my Christmas game that I wanted to show just to like, celebrate. And, I said here, I want to do a fun gameplay for the community. So I tried out Hulk pool. I gave Hulk like a little Christmas hat on the thumbnail against Expert Ronin, leading into the gimmicky bad icons. And be warned, this took several tries. Guys, I'm not going to try to lie to you and tell you that, this took one try or whatever. This took several tries. This is not a good deck. Like I said, is not a good deck. So, Nar Antlers being hilarious here, shouts out, but I don't think that this is, the best way. We basically wanted to give Hulk laser swords, and we play a little dangerously. He can swing for 3 plus 4, so he has 7 attack. Swing for a bunch, he can ready up, play crushing blow to do damage against his attack, stuff like that. And that was like the big thing here, trying to rush down Ronin and just get really lucky. And we had to get very lucky because it is not a consistent build at all. But yeah, we're able to get it here. But yeah, I highly do not recommend this Christmas build that I had here for Hulk. Hulk can have some synergies in pool with the pool aspects triple resource right to help him play those economy cards down more easily. But I find that it's usually fine with Hulk with just the power novelist, which you include in any aspect, because the other stuff in the pool aspect kind of hurts Hulk, right? Like, the bad icons, and then the stick to itness, like a great card to give Hulk a ready, but like his readying won't help him thwart, right? He has 0 thwart. It only helps him do more damage, which we don't necessarily like need whenever we're building out, right? So I don't know if this is the best build for Hulk, but definitely a fun-ish one. Not even like the most fun. I like the leadership one more, but fun-ish if you guys like rush stuff. And then speaking of rush, let's go over Hulk's aggression hooks. So Hulk was notoriously known as a hero that can only play in aggression for a very long time when he first came out, because he can rush down. He has a lot of damage here, right? With like the Hulk smashes. He has a bunch of like attack cards, right? So he has the crushing blow here. Do damage to enemy equal to your attack. So 1 for 3 damage essentially. Hulk smash. We make a base attack. You get plus 10 for attack. So you're swinging here for 3 plus 10, 13. Right, and then you have Thunderclaps here, where you can choose up to 3 different enemies, do 3 damage to each of them, so like some AoE Thunderclap shenanigans. We also have 2 copies of the Unstoppable Force, where you can ready up Hulk, and if you pay for this card using only physicals, you draw a card. This, I guess, isn't actually an attack event or anything, like doing damage, but like usually if you're readying Hulk, what are we doing, guys? We're not thwarting. We're probably just gonna attack because we can ready up to defend at the end of the turn anyway, so we don't need to like play a Unstoppable Force just to defend again, right? So yeah, so I almost consider this as like damage. So like, let's not count it though. We'll do Thunderclap, 2 copies of Hulk Smash, and 2 copies of Crushing Blow. He has 6 like attack-oriented cards in his kit, which is definitely above average and thematic here to Hulk. But if you consider this as also like kind of damaging cards, which I do, 8 damaging cards here in Hulk's kit. So yeah, pretty thematic character. So if you're playing him in aggression, you don't really need that economy, because you just want to play 1 attack event every single turn. If you have like 2 crushing blows and 2 attack events, you can put some cheap ones in, you can put some more expensive ones in, right? Just try like give up your hand, play everything, attack every single turn. Not a lot of thought needs to go into it. Just try to do a lot of damage, right? Hulk will also have some synergy, with counterattack. Counterattack is a really good card here for Hulk because he has 18 hit points. So if you include that, with aggression, whenever he takes damage, he can deal that damage back. Very, very good card that I think works out with Hulk, in the aggression aspect. Dropkick has his picture on it. So, that physical resource synergy is very, very nice there. You can, hopefully pay your entire hand, of the other 3 cards, and they're all physicals. Play the dropkick, stun the enemy and draw a card, which you have to discard with the Force Interrupt. So a little bit of anti-synergy there, but I still think that Dropkick is a very good card for a Hulk aggression deck. I think that Yarm is also another really good card for Hulk because of all the physical resources that he has, in his kit. So after he attacks, throw away physical resource, trigger your army while I'm doing our 2 damage, just like rush the villain down, in aggression. Aggression with Hulk is definitely a setup here for rush, which can often be a success. And that's also another reason why I don't think that Hulk is the worst hero, because I think that if Hulk can more easily rush down, expert Ronin in aggression, then Hawkeye can beat Ronin, in any aspect, leadership included, rush down aggression included. And Hulk, can defeat Magneto more consistently than Hawkeye, with my leadership recursion build. For me, that means that Hulk is a stronger hero than Hawkeye. And then it's definitely no surprise because I talked about it in the beginning of this video. But in my opinion, the best way to play Hulk is in leadership. And I do want to give a huge shout out here to Curtis, who talked about the leadership build here. So I tried to use leadership to address Hulk's weakness with thwarting, his economy, and his card draw. I think leadership definitely helps out with these 3 categories. First turn, try to mulligan to get suit up and play Grant War for 0 and play Clarity of Purpose on Hulk to help with his economy. So this is actually a very fun way to do that. It's a way that I haven't personally done, but I agree this is actually a really good way. So like in this case, I'll put like 2 copies of Clarity of Purpose, in the deck, so that future suit ups can still target the Clarity of Purpose and add it to our hand. And then here with suit up, we can grab Grant Ward and Clarity of Purpose on turn 1, get a resource generator down in the Clarity of Purpose, and play Grant Ward, which is out that can help us thwart immediately. Very, very powerful. Very cool new synergy here with Hulk with the new card Grant Ward. Ward provides early needed thwarting, definitely agree. And then roll with card draw allies like Maria Hill, Kalu, White Tiger to assist with small hand size. Totally agree with that. And try to get more resource generators out like Queen Carry and Ingenuity. Then you can lean into Suit Up Moon Girl combo more often. Make the call for ally recursion on Ward or Maria Hill for cheap 2 Thor allies and get ready to use them more often. Yeah, so I totally agree. This is a very, very good way to build a Hulk. I think that combine this with the suit up Moon Girl combo, because I think that if we're still looking for that on turn 1, that can go very well. But if we don't get that and we just get a suit up and we don't have anything else that we want to do, we could at worst get Grant War and a Clear Purpose, because then we still get that resource generator. And since suit up can shoot an ally from your discard pile or your deck from anywhere, that's really powerful. We can always get a Grant Ward and always get a Clarity of Purpose with that. So yeah, very, very powerful combo. If we're searching for both, deciding we want to do this way or play Moon Girl and play Ingenuity, I think that gives us more versatility and more options. Yeah, that is definitely a very powerful way to play Hulk here. I totally agree with Curtis here. Huge shout out to him for the comment here. And yeah, I think that the Grant Ward call out is on point. I love this ally for heroes that have low thwarting, and Hulk is definitely one of them with his printed Thor stat of 0. So yeah, apparently the best way to play Hulk is also the most controversial way. Guys, if you want to try out this build, don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't. Do what you want, have fun. It's Marvel Champs, it's a co-op game. Play however you want and enjoy, playing this game. And yeah, I hope if you guys do try this deck, let me know down in the comments and let me know if you have a lot of fun and success with it. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know down in the comments what do you think is the best way to play Hulk in Marvel Champions. And let me know if you don't think that he's worth playing, right? I know there's a lot of people that think that, Hulk should just go in the garbage. Don't even try playing him. That's totally valid. That's totally fair. You are entitled to your own opinion. I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong. I'm not trying to change your opinion, right? This is just what I think is the best way to play Hulk. And for anyone that's watching this that, wants to play Hulk in a strong way and have success with him, I would highly recommend this build here. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, I hope you like this video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.